All right, good afternoon. I'm excited. I have a buzz about insects, and I hope you will too. This is our Celebrating Chemistry brochure, and it's all about the buzz about bugs. And if you turn to page 5, you'll see bugs to die for, DYE, meaning coloring agents. So what we're going to do today is make a solution from bugs that will be red. And then what we're going to do is see if it makes a difference if we add acid or base. And as some of you may know, acids are opposite bases. So how do we do that? Well, there's some common acid and bases in your kitchen. And I have 3 containers here. The bug that we're going to be working with today is cochineal, and I have a container labeled cochineal dye. We also have a container labeled acid because of vinegar, and this is white vinegar, and I'm going to add this vinegar, a small amount, into the container marked vinegar. Then I'm going to make a solution of baking soda, and baking soda is a base. So I'm going to take a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm going to add it to this container marked base, baking soda. And as some of you may know from building volcanoes, if you mix acid with baking soda, you'll form bubbles, and that's carbon dioxide. We're not going to do that today, but what we're interested in today is how applying acid or base will affect cochineal dye. Will it make a difference? We'll see. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the filter paper that you have, and we're going to mark A, B, C on it. A is for acid, B is for base, and C is for cochineal, and it's also our control. Now what we're going to do is put on our safety glasses, and what we're going to do is take a drop or 2 of the acid and put it on the piece of paper where it says A. And then we're going to clean out our pipette, and we're going to take some of the B for base and put it on the filter paper. And as you can see, we have a spot that's wet by A and a spot that's wet by B. What we're also going to do is take this container, which has separations so that you can see it perhaps a little bit better, and I'm going to mark this piece of paper A, B, C as well, and I'm going to put a drop of acid in the A, clean my pipette, and then put a drop of the base. And we'll see if this makes any difference. I'm going to set these aside because we now want to prepare our cochineal dye. So we put all of these off to the side, and to prepare the cochineal dye we have to crush the insects. So I have here a flat surface and a rolling pin, and I have the bag with the cochineal insects all dried. And you can see that they're thick little guys. So now I'm going to crush them. And as I crush them, I can hear them being crushed. And what I want to do is I want to reduce as much as possible down to a powder. So I'm going back and forth with the rolling pin. And then what I'm doing is shaking it into the corner and rolling it. I can hear that crush, crunch, crunch. I'm going to shake it again, get them all in the corner, and then crunch, crunch. I'm not hearing too many more crunches, so I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I hope you are too, reducing this to a powder. And just a little bit more. I hear a few crunches, but not too many. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. Now I'm going to add some water. So you see, we have just the dried bugs. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to add about a half a cup or so of water. Wow, look at this. A beautiful red color, very deep red. Now, I'm going to take back my containers, the base, the acid, and then the cochineal dye. And I'm going to pour some of the cochineal dye into the cochineal dye container. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drop of the acid and take a drop of the base and see what happens when I add them to this dish and to this filter paper. As some of you may know, dyes have been used for centuries for clothing, and red was a very special dye that people really liked, but they didn't know how to make red. And what they found out, the Spanish found out about red from cactus. There was a little insect, the cochineal, and they've managed to have as a secret how to make red clothing from the cochineal insect. And now you can see where I've added the cochineal dye to the acid. What happened? It turned lighter. It's a light orange. On the base, it turned a little bit purple. And that's also what you can see in this dish. The base made the cochineal a light purple, the cochineal itself remained red, and the acid made it turn orange. So here you have it. The bugs about bugs is cochineal dye and how to make dyes. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you.
Done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Stop the camera. I got a call just now.